Hello everyone, we're back with Donna again, talking about her life and her story. Donna, when you were first married, what was the worst thing that you remember about being married to him?
Well, he beat me up the night I was married.
What
and,
happened?
And I don't know, something I said that he didn't like, whatever it was. But I was too worried about going to my family to tell them. I never told anybody that because it was always my arms and my back, that he never anywhere where it would show. And I was too worried about going to my family to tell them because I was afraid of what they might do to him. And he just was a man full of anger, and he came from a family of 5 children. I think he was the middle child, something like that, and he just was so full of anger and seemed to take. As far as I know, he didn't hit anybody else, just me. He'd never been married before, and he never hit the children, which I was very thankful for.
Did he ever sort of almost kill you or anything?
I felt sometimes that it was getting very close, yes, and I just thankful that God intervened.
Have you got an example of that?
Usually at night or first thing in the morning, he would be so agitated and so wanting to reach out and smack me or something. Never my face, always my arms or my legs where I could cover it up, and it just seemed to. The least thing that I said or did made him very angry.
What happened when you left? What happened the day you left or made you leave?
When the day that I left, I was right up to here. I just couldn't take any more. And I got the courage, and I said to Lisa, my youngest daughter, we're leaving and we're never coming back. And there was a lot of money in the house. He had hidden all the money under the kitchen sink, and I never took any of it. I only took what I had in my purse, and which wasn't very much. And I packed a suitcase for myself and for Lisa, and I said, I'm moving to Woolco. Now, I lived at Pharmacy in Eglinton, and Woolco, which is now Walmart, was quite a ways away, but that's where I came to get an apartment. So I moved into 50 Carabob, which is the building next door, and I didn't have any problem renting an apartment, 2 bedrooms. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, but I did, and then I went to work at McDonald's. But he never. I don't think Lisa ever told him where we lived. She was just a little girl. She was 8 or 9 years old. And I don't think that she ever told him where we lived, because she knew what was going to happen if he found out.
I wonder if she ever told anyone at school or anything.
I don't think she ever did.
No.
No, she seemed to be a happy little girl and playing and wanting friends over, and she never seemed to, it seemed as if it was my problem, not hers. And I'm thankful for that,
Yeah.
because it could have really affected her.
Yes. And
Yeah.
did you ever hurt enough that you wanted to go to the doctor?
No, it was always here on the top of my body, never below my elbow.
But nothing broke?
Nothing broken. No, just whacking like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Enough to bruise?
Enough to bruise, yeah. And being fair-skinned, I bruise very easy. The one episode where I finally had enough, and I just didn't want to be part of this anymore. Breaking up a marriage was not what I wanted to do, but I just felt that I'd had enough. I had taken enough. So 4 o'clock in the morning, he was screaming his head off at me, and he was going to kill me with a knife. And I just grabbed Lisa, and I ran downstairs, and yeah. I guess I'd had something. Some of my clothes were packed. Oh, and I knew there was money under the kitchen sink, and in a cupboard, a sliding cupboard that he had put in there, and I took some of that money. I didn't take all of it. I took some of that money. Always afraid, always that fear that he would know that I had taken all that money. And that's how I started. I decided, yes, I was going to leave and I wasn't coming back. And that's exactly what happened.
Donna, it was so terrible, your marriage. Did you ever think that when you said your vows, it's till death us do part, and being a Christian, did you feel you should stick to that? Or how did you...
Yeah, I wanted that's what I believed, and I wanted to stay with that because I didn't believe in divorce. Well, not that I didn't believe in divorce, but it wasn't for me. I wanted to be a married woman with children at home. And so when I left, I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing, but it was the right thing. And I was never sorry that I had left. God provided for me every step of the way, with a job at McDonald's and a car, and even though I was a brand new driver, I had hardly driven a car, and a little wee tiny red Honda car, and I worked at McDonald's on Lawrence Avenue. And Lisa was so good about it. She didn't put up any fuss or anything because she knew that why I had left her father. The other two children were married, yes.
Were you in contact with the other two children during this
all
time?
the time.
Yeah.
All the time, yes.
Did they come to you when you first left him?
They came, yeah, they came to see me, not really believing that I was not living in the house any longer. And I didn't care. The house had been paid for. He had worked, he was, my first husband was a very hard worker. He was a cab driver, but he worked very hard. He would work 12, 14 hours a day. The only money I saw from that was when I needed to go grocery shopping. I didn't have any other source of
income.
Money.
That must have been very difficult. How did
It
you
was,
manage?
but here I am.
How did you? I guess you didn't have time to feel. You just did.
I just did. Yes,
Yeah.
I just felt that God, now is the time. God was saying, now was the time, even at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, yeah.
So, how did you meet your second husband?
My second husband. After a few years of being by myself, Lisa was growing up now, and I went to Muskoka Bible Center, which is in Huntsville, Ontario, and I was sitting in the dining room. It's a lovely Christian place where you can go and have board and have your meals and stay in a room. And I was sitting at a table. At that time, they served at tables. Well, we still serve at tables, but they served in big
communal
bowls.
tables.
Yeah, and so this man was sitting across from me, and he seemed to be very shy, and he had quite a thick accent, which I found out later was from South Africa. And we kind of exchanged telephone numbers, and he didn't call me. He was too shy to call me, but I called him, and that's where it started. Yeah. And we had 20 amazing years together. We traveled the world.
Did you tell him about your first marriage?
Oh, yes, he knew about it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he knew all about it. He was the exact opposite, kind and gentle, yeah.
Did you have a church wedding?
Yes, we were married at Forward Baptist Church in downtown Toronto. We were both going to the Baptist church at the time. And everybody was so happy for both of us, especially me because they knew me better than they knew him. And it was amazing.
And the children all came?
The children were fine with that. They were happy that their mother finally found some happiness.
Did he have any children?
He had 4 children, yes. It was his second marriage as well. And
how did you get on with them?
yes, we didn't have any problems with any of the children. Yeah, it was pretty amazing that after what I had been through, here was happiness. And God ordained it, not me.
That's
Yes.
that was so rewarding, and
Yes.
you certainly deserved it.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I didn't have to work, I didn't have to duck any fists anymore.
That's, I'm laughing, but that's not really so
No,
funny. No.
But it's a happy laugh. It's not
Yeah.
a laugh at.
What do you think people who are in the same position should do?
Well, if you're
Okay.
able, both mentally and physically and financially able, don't stay. Don't stay. There's so many rewards out there for women who are brave enough to go out on their own and to just make a life of your own.
Delightful, yeah.
Mhm.
Were you afraid that of marriage as such?
But knowing this man, this new man that was in my life, I had no fear whatsoever.
How long did you know him before you got
A
married?
couple of years,
Yes.
yes. And we would spend, in the summer, we would spend time at MBC, at Muskoka Bible Center, together. Not, separate rooms, of course, but together. And we just seemed to hit it off. We just he had been in a bad marriage as well. And we just seemed to hit it off, and life was wonderful.
Oh, that's wonderful that you found each
Yes.
other.
It was. Only God could do that. I wouldn't have known anything about that kind of thing, but God did that.
Did you still stay at work? Did you still
Yes,
work?
we both. Well, he worked out in Bramalea, and I lived in Scarborough. So he had a long journey every day to work and back again. But I guess it was worth it. I was at the other end.
Did
Yeah.
you stay at McDonald's? Or?
No, I didn't know. I ended up in an office, 2 or 3 other different jobs,
Like?
each one a little bit more money than the one before.
What were they?
Receptionist mostly. I love people, and I like talking to people, and I always seem to have the right answer when they ask me.
You certainly have the right answers.
My children were very happy that I had found a man that, and he showed his friendliness toward them, and they to him, and they to him. He loved the grandchildren, and they loved him. I could see Daniel coming right now, standing right here beside Grandpa's knee, and they called him Grandpa, even though they knew he wasn't their real grandpa, and they took him in, and he took them in. Well, when I think of where I've come from as a child, in a very poor home, as an adopted child, to a grown woman that I am today, and how I've learned how to live by myself and manage money, and of course go to church. I wouldn't want to miss church. I love going to church. And the good friends that I have, like Penny is one. And it's just amazing how God has taken care of me all of these years. I must give him the glory. I've done nothing to deserve it.
That's great. That's an amazing story, and
Yes.
like I say, a really rewarding one.
Yes.
And we look forward to the next phase
The
in your
next
life.
phase, whatever it might be.